What's it cost? What's it cost you, Antone? What is the cost of being a Christian today as a man? What does it cost? What changes? And that's what we're going to go over today. What does it cost a man to give his life to Christ? What does it cost a man to walk on the path of Christianity? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to Street Smart Christian, where we're just everyday guys, just trying to get closer to the Lord. We're just here trying to live more like Christ a little more every single day. And we are here to talk to the everyday man, the everyday blue collar worker, whether that's in a field, in a truck, in a cubicle, wherever that is. We're just trying to navigate this crazy life as a man in today's world and do it as much like Christ as we possibly can. And so I thought we would start tonight's episode with the cost of Christianity. What is the cost when you're really in? Not the cost of when you're half in and you're half out, or you're just kind of dabbling in Christianity, but what is the cost of complete surrender, obedience to Christ, and what is the cost of submission? What does that cost you in friendships, your job, your family life, just everyday life? That's what we're going to get into. So I think we'll start with you, Antone, on a little bit of your journey to where you are now and what that looks like and what that road to where you're at now really looks like. And we'll kind of just go off of that. And I'll share some of my stories on what that looks like, because I don't think we think about the cost. Mm-hmm. And the cost isn't something that we're not trying to scare people away from Christianity, because the ultimate thing is the fruit that grows from that and the life-changing applications to walking with Christ. But it's a lot of times I think we think as the upright Christians are the pastor at your church, things like that. And we're like, well, that's his job. But really the ministry is all of our jobs, no matter where we're at. So let's start there. Let's talk a little bit about you and your journey and what that looked like. And maybe you can share with us some things that you can see that's cost, maybe fun things that you thought were fun, worldly things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely cost me some friendships, right? Some of the experiences with those friends. So like recently I've realized a group of my friends who I've started to become more distant from. It wasn't anything that I did intentionally, but the activities that were going on I didn't approve of. And I was vocal about it. I made it known. And so I slowly began to not be invited to these different separate activities. And so as I stopped attending those, and as I stopped saying yes to going to those, then I slowly started to grow distant from this group. And so some friends and those experiences, those worldly experiences, and I don't regret it at all.
Right.
I have no...
And I think that's something that we really want to express, is there's no regret in this sanctification process. And that's what it's called. When you become a follower of Christ, you're indwelled with the Holy Spirit who takes up residence in you, and the sanctification process starts. And sometimes that might mean trimming the fat, or for us, Christ is the vine, we are the branches, and we produce fruit. And so sometimes when you have a fruit tree or a bush, some of those crazy branches or dead low-hanging fruit, whatever it is, you trim that off. And I think it's the hardest thing for a man to think of is men were tribal. And so we have our close-knit group of friends, some of them from high school, some of them from college, some of them from our jobs. And we're not saying you just got to, tomorrow call up the guys that hacked you off or did something and say, hey, we're not friends anymore. Because if you're friends, they may come back and see the fruit that you're producing as you're walking with Christ, and it becomes contagious, and then they want to know about it. But I think what happens is when you have all these distractions in your life, God will remove those distractions when it takes your focus off the plan. And I've experienced that as well. I mean, I used to pride myself on having a large group of friends, and when I was walking with Christ, I still had that. But when I got serious about my faith, that group got smaller and smaller and smaller. And it wasn't in a nasty way. And it wasn't in a fight or a division that there was a conflict. It was just more like my interests became different. They'd seen my interests were different, and it wasn't their path. And then some have come back and respected the journey that I was on. And some have even wanted to join me in this journey. And that's all glory to God for that. But I think as a young man, some of the things that we're talking about is when you start walking with Christ, sin becomes nauseating to the point it's like, oh, man, I'm not into the late night drinking. I'm not into the check your box, whatever it is. I'm not into chasing after girls anymore. I'm not into the foul language all the time, the dirty jokes, the whatever it is. And you just start to move away from that negative energy that comes your way. But I don't want people to think, oh, well, being a Christian just isn't fun then.
Right.
No, because it's a blast. When you surround yourself with like-minded Christian men, we still tell jokes. They're not as colorful. They're not inappropriate. And we shouldn't, we should be leading by example. So we shouldn't be doing that anyways. For me, it was definitely friends, and I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on that too. But it's also the music that I listen to, the movies that I watch, the television shows, all that. You just, some of that, your movies are now, your shows, your screen time, everything is kind of, so that's a cost, that the entertainment is, there's a lot of great, clean entertainment out there. You find it, but yeah,
I've noticed that too. Music and whatnot. I've gotten to the point, I had this whole playlist of a certain kind of music, and it wasn't clean by any means, but now I'm at the point I don't even enjoy it. I mean, it's not like trying to be on a soapbox and say, oh, I'm holier than thou. No, it's just, it gets to a point where when you decide to fully submit to Christ and say, I'm going to follow you, and whatever you have planned, I'm going to do your will. Yeah. Then it's, like you said, nauseating. That's a great way to put it, because then it's not enjoyable anymore. You say, why? Why am I doing this? Or like, even with the drinking, that was something I learned recently. I don't know the correct terminology, so I'm not going to sit here and be an expert, but a quick Google search will answer the question. And I don't know if it's a type 1 or category 1, but alcohol falls into a category that is the same, I think it's like a category 1 carcinogen, and that's in the same category as asbestos and formaldehyde. It's poisonous to every single cell in our body, and we celebrate it and go, let's drink a ton of it. This is amazing. Why? Yeah. It's so that all the drinking and late nights and whatnot, I like my sleep. Alcohol makes me feel like crap. And and the older you get, the more you cherish your sleep. And then, there's going to be some people in the comment section that are going to say, well, the Bible doesn't say you can't drink. And I'm not saying that at all. If you can do it responsibly and you can enjoy a glass of wine or whatever for dinner or after dinner or a glass of whatever
while you're smoking a cigar at the end of the day on your front porch. Have at it. There's nothing. It does not say drinking is a sin. Alcohol is not in itself a sin, but drunkenness is. And when you're rising up and you're growing up, and we live in the country, so that's everybody's favorite pastime. It isn't a glass of wine after dinner. It isn't whatever. Pick your poison. It doesn't rarely stops there. I mean, let's just be real. And for blue collar guys, it's definitely, it rarely stops there.
Right.
You'd like to come home, you like to have your beer at the end of the day, which leads to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, whatever number it is. And that's when it starts to become a problem. That's when it starts becoming a god. That's when it starts taking your focus off of everything. And when you start to follow Christ and you dedicate yourself to him and you submit to him, that's when the Holy Spirit convicts you that your attention is being drawn away from that narrow road, putting you on that wide path that leads to destruction. And that conviction gets to be louder and louder and louder. And then you realize, hey, this is a problem. I'm treating this as a god. I'm treating this instead of going to Christ with my end of the day blues or whatever it is, I'm turning to this. And then why do I feel so horrible the next day? And you're right. It's a poison. And it's scientifically proven that it's not good in large amounts to consume every day.
Right. And honestly, in all reality, it's not good in any amount. But again, I'm going to reiterate what you just said. I'm not saying it's bad to indulge at all.
Right.
Right. It's not a sin. It's not terrible. And I'll be the first to admit, I like a good beer. I do.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, when you abuse it, just like anything else. Right. But again, that category 1 carcinogen thing, that flip the switch and ooh, no thanks.
For sure.
But again, I do like a good Coors Banquet. So.
For sure. Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with that. If you can control it and you can just enjoy that. Our pastor used to say all the time, I don't drink, but if somebody was to come to my house and say, can I have, I brought my Coors Light. He said, sure. But he said, I'd probably say something after number 3. Like, okay, now we gotta, but, I don't drink anymore, because I was that blue collar guy that couldn't stop it. Just enjoying a nice cold one at the end of the day or at the end of the week. I had to have 15, let's go there. We're going to the races. Let's go. That was just my mentality. I do believe though, if we're talking about that, the cost of this is, we're not saying it's not okay, but for instance, if you go out with a group of friends and everybody wants to enjoy a glass of wine or a cold beer or whatever that is, and there's somebody in your group that struggles with alcohol, the cost of being a good, faithful Christian man is to say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to cause my brother to stumble. It's the same thing with food. If I go out and we go out and we're going to go to a steakhouse and you say, but I don't eat red meat because of whatever, it's a problem for you. I'm not going to order a steak either then. Now the Bible doesn't say I can't, but I'm not going to cause my brother to stumble. I'm not going to cause whatever. And so that's a cause. I mean, so you gotta be so careful who you're with, what you're doing, and everything like that. And it's also the same thing. If you're struggling, then you don't go to places where everybody's just going to be whooping it up.
Well, I want to circle back to what you said. You said that you don't drink because you didn't have a good limit.
No. Yeah.
So I really like that because you knew what the problem was. You found out.
Yeah.
And then you said, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could be with anything. Like you said, gluttony. It could be whatever.
Sure.
And so I really like how you brought that up because you knew that was what your problem was. So I'm done.
Yeah.
I admire it. I just want to
And
point that out.
and you know, and by no means am I saying was that easy. No, I mean, we live in a culture out here where that is socially acceptable. And so there wasn't a lot of people there to say, well, it's a problem. It wasn't until I really took my walk with Christ seriously that I was putting that above everything else. And when I would do that, then I wasn't reading the word. I wasn't, and I just didn't like that a part about me. I mean, I wasn't a mean person or wild and crazy and shooting out street lights or nothing like that, but it was just, and I couldn't sip it either. Like I could never figure out how guys could just sip it. I'm like, we need nipple for that. Like it was four swigs and that the bottle's gone of the whatever. But, and so like I said, I recognized it and said, this is a problem for me. And it's hindering where I want to be with my walk with Christ. And it trimmed the bush.
So what did that look like for you saying I'm done? Was it just cold turkey? I'm done, or how did you stop?
A couple of times actually. Because I think for anybody, the first time you get the willpower to do it, but then you get to a state where you think I've got it under control now. Like I'm only going to have, now I can just stop here because I recognized what the problem was. But now I'm not going to go back to that problem. So then you just ease back into it and then it rears its ugly head again. And then you go, oh, and for me, what it was conviction. It was conviction of living two lifestyles, being one way in church and another on Saturday night. It just, and I didn't like living that double lifestyle. It was a Jekyll and Hyde kind of mentality. Like I got to either pick this or this. And this has caused family members to die. And this has, I can see the benefits of following Christ. And so it was like what we say here, if you're going to talk about it, then be about it. And so I just chose to radically change it. And then, it was cold turkey. But I started drinking way too many sodas and then I had to recognize that. And then you just trading one thing for another thing. And then and then you get to a point where it doesn't really even cross your mind anymore. And you can go out to places where that is there's a lot of people partaking and stuff like that. But then people start recognizing you for the fruit that you're bearing now. And then so they're like, well, that's not him anymore. So we're not going to even push it over there. Like he is walking this path and so far, people have respected that and has even come to me for advice. Like, how do I get there? How do I do that? And an age for sure, maturity.
So
being married,
you felt the conviction.
Yeah.
And then you quit. And then through that, people recognized it. And they didn't say, oh, this guy, loser, we're done. They started to respect you for it. And then you were able to help people through that. Yeah. And like a testimony.
In the beginning, people didn't, it was more like, we'll see how long this lasts. In the beginning, it was like, oh, okay. What's really going on behind closed doors? But as you were talking about alcohol being a poison, it affects the way you look, the way you act, the bloated gut, the whole nine. And when people started watching the color enter back into my face, the gut not protruding and going down, and just me looking healthier, more alert, more myself, that's when they started going, okay, all right, this is real. This is, wow. Teach me your way, like different things like that. So, but the cost of that was the rowdy nights, the bonfire parties, the fishing trips, the hunting trips, the going to bed before everybody else, telling their wild stories out there, hitting a bottle or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That discipline of and then being content with, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to hit the hay.
Mm-hmm.
The benefit of that is I would be up at 5:30 while everybody else is, oh man, I should have took your advice or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like cutting that out of my life, I've felt the healthiest I've felt in a decade.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I started drinking at 13, 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just what you did on a farm. And so, yeah, I can definitely feel the health benefits of it, being more alert, sleeping better. The biggest myth ever is, I need to sleep, so I'm just going to until I pat. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's not sleep. That's unconsciousness, but that's not sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not rest. Your body is not resting. You're asleep, but your body is trying to detox this poison out of you.
Right.
And so, but yeah, but like I said, so the cost of that with taking my faith serious was, not being included in some of the jokes, seeing the wild and crazy things, not going to the fair dance or going to the rodeo stuff or whatever, name it.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the ball game and having beers with your buddies and the hot dogs and stuff like that. And just not doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And being more grounded, at home. So the cost is also like, he's just a square. And then you stop getting invited.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of the group chat.
Right.
You're out of the text thread or whatever. So you just, and for me, I'm 41 now. So I'm at the age now where I'm the old guy at the function, but,
mm-hmm.
but yeah. And do I miss some of the stuff? Absolutely. I miss some of the camaraderie. I miss the bonfire talks. I miss the joking around. I miss the loose and just, letting it all hang out.
Mm-hmm.
There's times I miss it, but there's also a cost to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost is greater there. I got 2 little girls at home that I don't want them to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to shelter them so much that but I want to be alert and attentive and in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the pros and cons list. Like we're talking about the costs of everyday world living
Mm-hmm.
that you may not be a part of anymore.
Right.
And so, yeah. And I have family and friends that still enjoy to drink
Mm-hmm.
and cut loose, and I love them dearly. Sometimes I think it goes a little too much, but that's another thing. Another cost. People are going to call you a hypocrite because you used to run with the pack.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be one of them. You might have even led the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And now did a complete 180, and they're like, well, who are you to say hypocrite? I remember what you used to do. I remember this and that, but you got to remember that when you became a follower of Jesus Christ, you were born again.
Mm-hmm.
You're born again, but you got to be careful. You don't want to be that,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be that guy that's kicking in the door at the party and telling everybody they're going to hell and this and that. You don't want to be that guy.
Right.
And so I never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Never talked about what people were doing. Never did nothing. And people have respected me. I've had haters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've had haters come out of the woodwork and say, oh, you forgot who you were. We remember what you did. We were there. And I'm like, yeah, me too. It wasn't a good place.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, I have been washed clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, those people weren't supposed to be in my life in the first place, I guess. So,
Right. Well, and I think that's the important thing too, is that as you do make this progress, whatever it may look like,
yeah,
it's not Scripture doesn't tell us to stand on a soapbox and tell everybody how much better you are because of it. You're supposed to be a light in the world. That's what Scripture calls us to be.
Yeah.
And so when you do start acting a certain way and start changing bad habits, it's not saying, okay, now you go tell everybody how wrong they are. No, it's be the light, and then people will be drawn to that light.
For sure. And it's not overnight.
No.
That's for sure. For me, I'm going on 8 years, going on 9 years. It's been 8 years, I guess 2017. So that's 8 years. I think, is it 9 or
9?
9 years. So here we are. I guess just turning 9. And it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows the whole time.
Right.
The first few years, I was still living that double lifestyle. Trying to be good. It's been a sanctification process. It's been a process and even I'm in full-time ministry now, but my entire life has been in the blue collar industry. And, even going to work, it's easy to turn this off, Christianity, and just be another one of the guys. And so one of the costs is you may not be involved in a lot of the things that the guys do at work. If you're really serious about this, and that took a little bit of like, this is kind of weird. What kind of cult are you in? You're going to get all the jokes. Like you're one of them holy rollers, holier than thou, and that'll you think it. But I never went to the job site and beat anybody over the head with the Bible. I just started slowly changing who I was, how I did things, how I approached things, how I handled anger, how I handled stress. And then slowly but surely, I just became that guy at work. Like they weren't sending me inappropriate videos on my phone or talking like that or talking about their sexcapades or whatever. That just wasn't a conversation that we had anymore.
Right.
We still had great, meaningful conversations, and they weren't all surrounded by Christianity, faith, and Christ. But they were adult conversations about real life things.
Right.
Politics, sports, whatever.
Yeah.
It just was a little more PG than R. And you're still going to run into people that don't know, and they're going to do that. And you just got to, you don't have to correct them and say, hey, hey man, I'm a Christian. You can't be talking like that. You don't want to do that. But if it gets to the point to where you feel led that you need to say something, then say it. But just because somebody uses foul language around you you just don't get to be like, hey,
right,
clean up the language there, bucko, because you're probably not going to make a lot of friends on the job site. But
no. But
that doesn't mean you have to. Was it in Proverbs? It says when you surround yourself with fools or whatever, Tonight in youth group, I went over in Psalms 101:3. It talks about, I will no longer let unclean things be in front of me, see in front of me, meaning that I'm just not gonna be around it.
Yeah, choosing to step away from it. It was like just an example. Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
that movie.
Yeah.
I used to really enjoy that movie.
I've never seen it.
It's dirty.
Well, I've heard.
Yeah, it was a movie a buddy of mine and I used to watch, and I was trying to watch it not too long ago, and probably, I don't know, like maybe September, October, and I hadn't seen it for a long time, so I thought, oh yeah, we'll go ahead and watch this, and I turned it on, and just all of a sudden I thought, yeah, I don't need to be watching. Yeah, it was severe conviction. I thought, I don't need to be watching this.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like a holier than thou thing, but I just no longer found it interesting. All of the drugs and sex and,
Yeah.
all booze and all that. I thought, why? That's all the movie is.
Mhm.
And then the love of money, that was another big thing. And thought, I don't need it.
Right.
Again, I don't have anything. If you like the movie, whatever. If you don't feel convicted about it, then fine. But I felt convicted about it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't need to be watching that anymore.
Yeah. That's another thing that we talked about in youth group today was what's discipling you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we think discipleship is from your pastor or from another godly man and things, but media is discipling us every day.
Mm-hmm.
What you're consuming is discipling you, and discipleship is training your mind,
mm-hmm.
changing your ways, changing your thoughts and stuff. And it does it all the time. I remember the first time that I was convicted was through music.
Mm-hmm.
I love all kinds of music, every genre of music I am a fan of. But there was some rock metal bands that I would listen to religiously.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was after I was married and I got the car and I had my phone set and everything, and I put it on one of my old playlists and some songs came on and I was like, I used to jam to those songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. I just turned it and took it off my playlist. And that was starting to happen more and more with music. And I'm like, why? And then movies was next. I used to love the old Rob Zombie horror movies and his remakes of Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out a few years ago on Netflix. And I was like, oh man. And I just remember watching the trailer and I was like, I never even watched it just because it was like I said, at nauseum, it was just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so I haven't watched a horror movie in 5 years. And I used to love all the Amityville horrors, the suspense, those kind. And I just see how demonic that they really are. And that's, I don't need that in my head. So yeah, I haven't seen a horror movie in, like I said, 5 years.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is when you submit to Christ and you're following him, there's so much joy in it. And so a lot of things like that really sucks the joy out of your
for sure.
life. And why am I doing this? It's
for
not
sure
fun.
Like I still like watching my crime documentaries and my crime series and it's a lot of murders and trying to, but there's good in those because there are people trying to bring justice to the families or whatever. So there's usually a silver lining. There's a happy ending most of the time, sometimes not, and I still enjoy that kind of stuff. And so just because you become a Christian doesn't mean that you don't enjoy things. It's just, you're careful about what you're consuming now. And of course I'm a parent. So, do I want my kids to watch this?
Right.
And even some of just the silly comedies that I used to watch, they just don't hit like they used to anymore. Right. It's like, well, that was kind of inappropriate. Like I said, it's different, but like you said, there's a joy in following Christ. So it's not like, we're not painting this picture that everything fun it's just, Christianity is not just dry and dull and watching the Waltons or whatever, and that's it. Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
No.
Good show.
Yeah, they're right. I have nothing against those shows. And it's not just dull. It's not, you can still go out and have a social life and be a follower of Christ and have a fulfilling social life.
Right.
And your cup's always full. There's tons of things. And that's not just saying going to church events or youth groups or whatever it is, men's Bible studies. you can still go out into the world without conforming to the world. You know, we're called to be the light. You can still have conversations about politics. You can still go to a sporting event and have sports conversations, or be in your fantasy football league, or whatever the case is. It's through a different lens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, through a different lens. Because, again, I mean, it's not, if you're still doing those, like watching those movies, listening to those songs, if you're not feeling convicted, then okay, you know, that's whatever. But if you are, I'd say don't run from the conviction.
No, and that conviction can be a real gut punch. Like, lean into it. Lean into what are you being convicted of? Because it's not there to harm you. It's there to protect you.
Right.
And
like you said, you can still have fun. I think that's a common misconception, is that when you're following Christ and following the Bible, it's very strict, you can't have fun. No, that's not true.
No, I've had some of the funnest times sober and clear-minded with a group of guys following Christ than times where you're blasted and fights are breaking out and drama's unfolding everywhere and it's just a nightmare.
Right.
I've had some of the best times with just a group of guys in a cabin sitting around the table drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Talking about life and talking about life situations and getting a lot of great advice and wisdom and soaking it in like a sponge and just going to bed with a smile on my face. Just relaxing and waking up feeling good.
Right.
Ready to do it all over again.
I think that right there, that's a key point, is that it's so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Versus the alternative. And I think you painted a great picture, because when you're more fulfilled at the end of the day, it's so much more fun than an empty pursuit of dopamine.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that dopamine high, you're thinking, what in the world did I do? You know, why? Versus that fulfillment at the end of the day. It's kind of like the difference between joy and happiness, right?
Yeah.
Happiness is a very temporary thing that's pleasing for a second and then gone in an instant.
Yeah.
But joy is something that's not as instant, but it's so much more fulfilling and it's long term.
Absolutely.
And you'll find joy in one place, happiness in the other. And I think that's pretty apparent which is which.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, this year was my first year. I got to go back elk hunting this year with the family and my brothers and a lot of guys there. And yeah, there were nights I went to bed earlier than they did because they were whooping it up or having a good time and not feeling so good in the morning. But I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I would go and get in my bunk and pull out my Bible or whatever and read just even 7 minutes. And I still had a good time. I still got to be involved with those conversations at dinner. I still got to talk about the hunting that day and stuff like that, and felt great. Had some sparkling water and put some fruit in it or whatever. Just, hey, look, I got my little mocktail or whatever, and felt great and still had a great time. And the thing of it is the alcohol is such a liar that everybody else was having a good time with me. Like, I didn't have to be on their level to have a good time. Like, they were still just talking and having a great time. Like, you don't need that to have a good time. And they would ask me questions about church. They would ask me questions about FCA. They would ask about my walk with Christ, and they would think, oh, that's so cool that you have a relationship with your pastor the way that you do, and these friends that you have now that I wouldn't have met anywhere else but here in church. And those guys like you and like Kevin and some other guys in this church, we have this same we enjoy the same things outside of church. We have the same lifestyles in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed.
Right.
We just don't go to the nightclub until 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out how we're going to get home.
Right.
Because we got to go to work or we got to go to church or whatever, you know? Now it's just clean fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a blast.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about cost, that's going to cost those friends that like to do that every weekend or every other weekend or after work or whatever. It might cost you having to go home and getting your butt into bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even I'll give another example. So I went to this concert with my buddies, and it was a whole group of friends, but primarily I went with my buddies. And so we went there, and I had 2 beers that night, and it was fun. It was a good time. And then my other buddy, who's pretty much on the same thought process that I am, he also had a couple beers. And then we went home, or back to my buddy's place, and me and the other buddy went to bed. I said buddy a lot, but me and the other buddy went to bed, and then everybody was still up. The next morning, he and I popped up. We're good, ready to go. Okay, we got to go. We have church today. And everybody else was, dragging. And so, I mean, it's, again, if you don't have a problem with it, and you can be, I don't think there's anything wrong. Oh, okay, here, you're walking a fine line here, because there's not necessarily anything wrong with going to that concert. No. But putting yourself in a bad spot. That's where the fine line is. Mm-hmm. So luckily, that group of guys, they're really close with me, and they're very respectful about how I feel about these different things, or how I am. And so they don't push, they don't do anything. So very thankful for that. But I always wake up feeling a little bit better.
For sure. And you made better choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the alcohol lowers your inhibitions or whatever in your decision making. And then you start making a lot of bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice to be able to go home and go to bed and be like, oh, man, I don't have to worry about anything that I did tonight, anything that I said, what girl I was whistling at, whatever. I don't have to worry about none of that. Mm-hmm. And it's great. And there's nothing. I love mornings now. I love waking up, watching the sunrise, drinking my mushroom coffee or whatever it is, and just in the quietness of everything, and I'm not like, oh gosh, when is it bedtime? Right. Oh man, I'm not dehydrated. I don't feel like I got hit by a truck.
I hate the dehydration.
Oh man,
it's terrible.
Yeah, but and it's not just alcohol. I mean, like I said, we were talking about movies, entertainment. I mean,
I think we're kind of hitting on the alcohol so hard because of the environment that we are in, and it's a predominant thing where we are.
And the men that we're trying to reach.
Right.
I mean, those guys, I mean, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. I mean, and it at first you're going to say, oh, these guys don't know me. Do we?
We just might.
And it could be your job. It could just be your job. I mean, there's a thing to be addicted to your job. I mean, when you make your job your God, and you're there to try to make as much money as you possibly can, or put in as many hours as you can, because you're trying to get to the next level of being the foreman or being the whatever, getting a raise and stuff like that. And the thing about it is what's that going to cost as being a Christian? Well, it might cost that God's got you exactly where he wants you to be. And that might not be being the foreman. That might not be getting a huge raise. That might not be getting moved up in your job. And so, and it might not even be that job.
Right.
It's not where he wants you to be. So you gotta really decide, like, is what I'm doing pulling me away from what I should be doing? Am I putting all my eggs into this basket and not getting anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and drowning yourself in work. I was told one time that you just drown yourself in work. Just drown yourself in work. That's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
It's not good. You got to have a good balance
Mm-hmm.
because you can get tied up in that and then be addicted to your job is not a good thing.
Right. Because then what are you neglecting in the process? Is it your family? Is it your faith?
Yeah, your faith. You know, people that are closest to you. Your health.
Mm-hmm.
Your body.
I think those are two big ones we see, especially in blue collar work, is neglecting your health and your body.
Yeah. And, you know, your family. That's huge. There's
Family
a lot of
as well.
guys that put in work
Mm-hmm.
and have little time with their kids.
Yep.
Or their wife.
But the people who do it to provide because they have to,
Yeah.
big respect.
For sure. You got to get out there and work. We're not supposed to sit soaking sour.
Mm-mm.
The guy who disciples me will hear that and be like, oh, I hate it when you say that. Sit soaking sour. He hates it.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't like that phrase. And I always slip up and say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're commanded to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God created Adam, put him in the garden to work it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to provide,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to be there for your family,
Mm-hmm.
your kids. And so you gotta set boundaries, and, you know, we all got to do what we got to do, but when you start following the Lord though, and you submit to Christ, you got to believe that he's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You submit to the Lord and he will give these things to you. He will provide.
Mm-hmm.
And he always does. Don't think for 1 second that by working overtime or 7 days a week or whatever it is that you're doing is to outwork God. You're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
God will provide.
Right.
And so there's nothing that you can do that can get you out of God. God will take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to trust in that. That might not be driving a brand new dually pickup truck, but God will make sure you have everything that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super important. So that might cost you your fifth wheel camper that you think that you need to have, but the reward is so much greater there. Store up for yourself treasures in heaven, not on earth. The reward is going to be so much better than anything that we are striving to get on this earth. And you stop, but as a follower of Christ, it's hard. It's really hard, but you also stop chasing after what you think you need, like what other people have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you start seeing, I don't need that. And you stop killing yourself trying to get to what you think you need to have because other people have it.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
It's just going to, you can't take it with you, right?
Nope.
You cannot. Never saw a trailer hitch on a hearse.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah. What about relationships? You know, you talked about friendships, the cost of losing
Mm-hmm.
friends. What about the dating world?
Yeah. Well, especially, I know any of the younger folks definitely know this who are not married yet, but when you decide to date somebody based off what the Bible says, your dating pool goes from this to about that. And it gets really small. So
Yeah.
it gets hard. It's really tough. But one of the quickest prayers I think God has ever answered for me was when I was dating this one lady. And she put on a really good facade of, oh, well, you know, we talked about the Bible and I was talking about my favorite books and she brought up hers. And then I told the Lord, I said, well, Lord, if you don't want me to be with her, take her from me. And I mean, a couple days later, I found out she cheated on me with 2 guys.
Well,
And I'm not saying it was his hand that had that happen,
yeah.
but I do believe that when I finally submitted and said, okay, Lord, if you want this relationship to go somewhere, let's go. But if not, then I trust you.
Yeah.
And then it was gone. And
Wow.
so, yeah, that's definitely tuned out a lot. And a lot of people, I'll give another example. This happened just the other day. I was talking with this one lady, and we were saying how, talking about basically how the family is so important and how Christ needs to be at the center.
Yeah.
And it's just where it's like, okay, our ideas are aligning. Okay, that's a good sign. And then later that night, she took my buddy by his hand into her room. And I thought, oh, there's another one. All right. It just, again, it goes from this really big pool down to a very small one.
Well, I think when you're following Christ, you're not dating to date anymore.
No. Well, and that's the thing. And both of those girls, they'll tell you that. And I know a lot of guys that we're trying to target right now, they've experienced that where it's, you say, I have this standard. This is what I want. I want marriage. Okay. And I'm not saying it's all women's fault because guys do it too. But from a guy, that's what I've experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. When you're walking with the Lord, you're looking for a wife. You're not looking for a girlfriend.
Mm-mm.
And, but I've experienced exactly what you're talking about with putting on this facade, well, I'm a Christian. Oh, okay, great. And you get a little further down the road and you're like, well, what camp of Christianity are you from? Because this doesn't really line up with what I was taught.
Yeah, makes you wonder if those 2 other dudes were in the same boat or not. Who knows?
You don't know. I mean, and so you really got to have the Holy Spirit, and the discerning voices that the Holy Spirit convicts you with, because, man, them blue eyes and blonde haired Christian girls that are like, I'm Christian, may just be that Jezebel.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be careful, but I think when you date, you have to be honest, upfront, and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm looking for. And I mean, right off the bat, right off the bat, you got to set your boundaries. You got to say what you're looking for, and you got to be intentional and bold with those. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for a wife. And the guys are like, yeah, but if I say that's gonna scare them off. Well, then that's good. That's good. Now, I'm not saying I'm looking for a wife. So what are you doing tomorrow at noon? I'll meet you at the courthouse.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying do that, but say, hey, so while we are dating and we're going to dinner, or we're going to, just know that these are my intentions. And all the time it's not going to work, but at least they know, and you can cut those ties without dragging it on and on and on. Like, hey, this really isn't what I had in mind. But thanks for trying. You know, whatever. But because it doesn't have to be nasty.
No.
But you got to set those boundaries, and you got to set those firm Christian boundaries.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not staying the night. You're not staying the night. So plan accordingly. You know, this is rated G,
right?
For a minute, you know, and that's tough.
Yeah, the dating pool it gets tougher when you decide to submit.
It's not just tough for the ladies; it's tough for the guys, and it's tough for the Christian men. The lust of the flesh is real, and you ladies have got a way. You've got a way of having a really convincing argument about a lot of things. So, gentlemen, you've got to be bold. You've got to be intentional, and you cannot waver.
Right.
If that means you got to go to dinner and you got to go home, well, then go home. Don't be messing around. Because, it's rough. And guys, if you're going to be intentional, don't cut corners because you think, well, she's going to be the one.
Right.
And don't put on this mask and then take it off when you know.
Right.
You got to be about it. Don't lead the ladies on that think that you're this great Christian man and then well, it's Saturday and we've been dating for 2 months and we're going to get married anyways, right?
Right.
No, that's not how this works. And it's a lot more rewarding. I am a living testament of living on both sides of that fence. Both sides of that fence. And I regret it now.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I mean, a lot of guys, I don't have no regret. Well, I wished that I did it the right way the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much more rewarding. God will bless it. He will protect it, and he will make it wonderful. But I didn't do that. It was bad. And that robbed a lot of what I could have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
It tainted my thought process. It tainted my whole brain. It tainted what I thought it was supposed to be, and just destroyed it, ruined it. And so fellas, hey man, whatever path you're on, I'm just saying, take my word for it. Do it the right way, and it will be worth it. It will be hard and frustrating. And what do you mean? Believe me, it's not easy, but it is worth it. It is. It makes everything in the past seem like just this. What was I even doing? I can't believe I lived that way. Like it's just, and Satan will use it against you because you just loaded his gun full of plenty of ammunition. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Pornography, all of it. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a poison, just like alcohol.
Yeah.
It's a poison. Poisons your mind, hardens your heart. So if you're struggling with it, figure it out.
Yep.
Because it's not easy. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. So I guess you could count that as a cost.
Yeah.
One of them for sure, a big cost if that's a lifestyle that you're used to living.
Mm-hmm.
Got to give it up.
Right.
Got to turn. Got to repent. Repent means to turn.
Mm-hmm.
To turn and try again. Yeah. So it might cost you relationships that you thought you wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I mean, there might be ladies out there right now that you're eyeing that you think, oh man, if I just get a chance. Well, it might cost you. It might cost you that.
Mm-hmm.
You might be dating somebody right now, and it might cost you because you may have to tell her, like, hey, things are going to be a little different now. I don't know. It might cost you having to move out on your own.
Right.
It might, and it could cost you family.
Mm-hmm.
Because your family's the closest thing to you, and they're going to see this radical change, and they're going to think, again, back to the hypocrisy thing. Like, what? Is you some kind of holy roller, Bible thumper now? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. So there is a cost to Christianity, but the reward is so great that it's not boring. It's not this straight, clean cut, just we're all sinners, bunch of ragtag dudes.
Mm-hmm.
We said last night, a guy said in Bible study last night that if If God hadn't have chose 12 messed up men to be apostles, he's like, I don't think I'd be a Christian. Like, if he chose 12 perfect men, he probably wouldn't be a Christian. But he chose 12 blue collar, regular dudes that were messed up, sinners. And he turned them into some of the greatest men that we use as examples. And if they could do it, we can do it. And it cost them a lot. It cost them their lives.
Yeah. I mean, everything they owned.
Yeah, it cost them their lives.
Yeah, they died horrific deaths.
Yeah.
Horrific.
And so, yes, Christianity cost you something, but the reward is so much better. The risk reward is so much better. Storing up treasures in heaven, not here on earth. And you get to be an example and a light in this world of darkness. You get to participate in something greater than yourself. And that is so worth it. That's so worth it. When you can submit to God and know that he'll take care of you, your days and your nights will be so much easier. Life's not going to be easy all the time. You're still going to get hit with freight trains all the time. And there's going to be hard days. There's going to be hard nights, but you surround yourself with great godly men, and you got accountability, and you've got guys that are just waiting for you to build you up. So yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's
not going to be. Never said it would be.
No, but neither is the life that you were living before.
No, but now if you choose to follow Christ, then you actually have a support system.
And you have a purpose-driven life.
Yep. Serving something higher than yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Die to self. It's not about you.
No.
And God doesn't need you to do anything. Not a thing. So, super important. I think it was a good topic to touch on. And we'll touch on some more everyday working man stuff. The everyday man. That's what this podcast is geared toward. The everyday man, not the Bible scholar, not the theologian, we love y'all, but this is for the guy that's just going, I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to listen to. I just started following Christ, and there's been a huge uproar of that happening as of late. And we just want to be there to go through this with you, to share our experiences, and to build the kingdom, to make kingdom men. And we're going to do it all together, and we're going to go through it together. And we want to hear from everybody, and we want to hear whatever your concerns are, whatever your problems, your questions, whatever. We're going to try to tackle it all. Everything from pop culture to everyday life. But if we're going to talk about it,
got to be there.
We're going to be about it. All right, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you again next time on Street Smart Christian.